Just let me know when you're good. All right, so we're live. So, all right, I want to do the little announcements that we do for the track, and then I'm going to say welcome to Wise and Nerdy, where fatherhood meets fandom, and everybody's going to go nuts. And if you're not nuts loud enough, we're going to do it again. If you're not nuts loud enough, somebody's getting grounded. So here is how we do this at DragonCon. This is for our sponsor, Zakat, who came through again this year for us and really helped support this track. Attention, all superheroes. Are you ready to unleash your powers of making a lasting impact? Team up with the Zakat Foundation of America, our track sponsor and heroic force delivering humanitarian assistance globally. For over 22 years, they've been empowering lives through disaster relief, food distribution, water projects, education, medical assistance, and orphan care. Rest assured, their top-notch recognition from Charity Navigator and the Better Business Bureau Wise Giving Alliance means your contributions are in the most trustworthy hands. Join the League of Real-Life Superheroes at zakat.org/DragonCon, and let's save the world together. Or use a QR code on the banner over there. Now, the charity of the con this year is the Arthritis Foundation of Georgia, or it's Arthritis Foundation, the Georgia chapter. The number one cause of disability in the U.S. is arthritis. It affects nearly 60 million adults and hundreds of thousands of children. DragonCon will match up to $125,000 in donations. And last year, the con raised over $272,000 for charity. So it's time to blow it out. If we hit $300,000 this year, more than likely their match is going to go up even more. Because that's how it worked before. They hit the match 2 or 3 years and they upped it. It used to be 100,000, now it's 125. So let's make DragonCon pay and donate to the charity. If you have that dirty, dirty, dirty money, it's evil. Nobody needs it. We will recycle it and you'll get blessings just by putting it in this can here. So we'll do that. All right. Welcome to Wise and Nerdy, where fatherhood meets fandom. All right. I am the Rock God of Podcasting, Charles McFall, and I am so tired. I'm not even sure how the show's going to go today. So we'll see how this goes. We'll go from here down. We've got special returning guests.
Yeah, I'm Bob Magoo. I'm best known as the author of the Jubal County Saga about a redneck wizard with a meth addiction. And I do a lot of book-related podcasts.
That's my alarm. I'm supposed to be here. So I'm Daniel Gossard, also known as Stoner Gump. I'm best known. I'm a redneck that I smoke a lot.
Broccoli.
I teach things.
Teach things.
I am Joseph _Ard, and I am one of the hosts. I'm the best dad ever, and so yeah, there you go.
Even little Jebediah says no. He's mine. His youngest is my biggest fan, and we'll stand on that forever. I love it. And then on the screen, Captain Can't Be Bothered. It is Grandpa Kurt.
Hi, I'm Kurt Booten, otherwise known as VO by Kurt. And yeah, I can't be there this year, unfortunately, but somebody has to still call in to keep Charles in check.
So why are you here? Yeah, okay. Is there a delay? Is it delay? Is it Alzheimer's?
Already said that.
Okay, yeah. All right. So here's how the show goes. We have an opening question we're going to go through, and then you see these lovely dice. We're going to toss these out for you guys to roll. The rest of the show is controlled by the dice. We have 6 segments. One of them is very, very bad. Don't roll a 6. It's the worst thing ever. It's just, let's not do that. The rest of them are cool stories about what are you nerding about. Tell me a story. We're going to ask our authors some awesome questions about how they got to where they are and those kind of fun things. So, Joe, what is the question to kick us off?
The question is, what is your favorite cliche dad statement? For instance, your kids say they're hungry. You say, "Hi, hungry. I'm dad."
And for the stream, if you step up to the microphone and be loud about it, it'd be awesome. Joe, what is your? I hate I'm even asking.
It's got to be whenever your kid gets hurt and you just tell them, "All right, we got to chop it off."
Wow. Wow. Daniel?
Back that line. Is it bleeding? No, walk it off.
I got this. I inherited this from my dad, and I will one day pass it on to my child. If anyone ever says the word chili, whether it be the dish or the temperature, you say, "Well, they say chili today, hot tamale."
Kurt, bring us one from the 70s. What's your favorite old timer joke?
When the kid says, "Hey, Dad, can I do this?" and I say, "I don't know. Can you?
Oh God, I hate that one so much. So much. I don't know that I have one. The only one that can. My brain is so tired. Dragon Con's been going for me.
Your
since
kids
Tuesday.
don't talk to you, Charles.
Well, okay, that is true. I told them I couldn't adopt them because I had them and they never understood. But they like my kids and my dad like to say "cool beans" all the time. And my kids don't. They didn't grow up in the '90s. They don't know what that is. They still try to say that. Okay. I just pointed jokes. I feel like he's gonna love this one. So Burger King, my dad always calls it booger fling every time without fail. And I'm like, no, I hate that. So what about you? We have America's favorite dad, Steven Adams, right here. Steven, do you have one?
No.
Okay, cool. All right. Does anybody else have their cliche dad statements they would like to share?
First your money, then your clothes, and then a breeze, and then you freeze.
All right, back here we got one.
I'll share one. Anytime my son and I are going somewhere, always say, "All right, you ready to go wherever we're not going?" And more specifically, like, "Are you ready to go to school? Are you ready to go to the dentist?" Like, the more fun it is,
The worse the alternative is. I gotcha.
But it is the thing we do every single time.
I tell my child that she always asks, how long is it going to take to get there? And I tell her 2 hours without fail.
Oh yeah. Right.
And a lot of times she knows instantly. It's like, no, it's school. I know how long it takes. Like, well,
Then why'd you ask?
why'd you ask?
Yeah.
Our dad used to take him when we'd be close to someone that had ice cream. He would say, "Hey, you guys, you know what sounds good? Ice cream." And then he'd pull in. He goes, "Yeah, it does sound good." And then he'd drive away.
Savage. Wait. This just turned into an intervention. Do we need to give hugs? Is that's what needs here? I thought you were going to go with to go, "You remember what ice cream?" And you say, "Yes," he screams at you. Because my dad did that one too.
No.
Right. Or the ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream, and then we screamed and my mom would smack us. That was always fun. That was good. Are we ready to start rolling? Or we got some
Sure,
more?
let's do this.
All right, who would like to roll the dice? You gotta stay. All right. All right, roll that dice.
Somebody's got to be able to see
What do
it.
we get?
Oh, one.
One.
No, they will always tell us what it is. And y'all can we got some stickers if y'all want to get those when you come up with the dice. So what's number one?
It's what are you nerding out about?
What are you nerding out about, Joe?
For me, yesterday I went and saw Anson Mount doing his podcast with Danny Trejo as a guest, and
I heard he had like a master producer fix that for him.
yeah, and that was awesome. And Danny was just hilarious. And then afterwards, because they happened to be using my equipment and I was helping pack out, Anson came back out and I got to talk to him for about 5 minutes just about our mutual love for creation. And so that was awesome. That was just straight up awesome.
My turn.
Go for it.
Okay. So we've been listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Denneman. It's wonderful. My 13-year-old just had surgery last week, so he's not here, and he was very upset about this. I asked him the one thing he wanted. He said something signed by Matt Denneman. So went over, got the books. My sister over there went over, and he signed it. "Hey, Dungeon Crawler Bryson, quit being lazy and get the fuck up. You'll lay about." And then he signed it for him. So,
Yes.
Scavenger's Reign. Anyone seen it? No, no one has. Why?
Just like Borderlands.
No, it's apparently what happened. I looked into it because I'm nerding out about it. These guys made like a 5-minute proof of concept YouTube video about people who've crash landed on an alien planet, kind of anime style. And Netflix, or I think Max picked it up, produced it, but then it's now been released on Netflix. Like Max didn't want to release it, so it's out on Netflix now. It's like 10 episodes long. Kind of a Western style anime, I guess would be a way to call it. But it's about a crew of a ship that is crash landed on an alien planet, and it has the best world building I've ever seen in a show.
About it.
It
And
is
what was
so
it
good.
called again?
Scavenger's Reign.
Scavenger's
And
Reign.
it has
I'll have to give that a try.
an art style, or at least on the cover, it has an art style of oh man, there's a lost it when I try to say it. There's a comic book that came out by Yep. Nope.
It's got a
gone.
really
It's
got a great art
it's
style.
got a
It
really
looks good.
it's got a really great art
Yeah.
style. And my recommendation is watch it and then go to YouTube and watch their original proof of concept and see how that turned into, and you see so many parallels but still some differences, and it's, I don't know, chef's kiss.
Nice.
So, Kurt, what have you been excited about this week at Dragon Con?
Yeah, so at Dragon Con. Yeah, fun. So Charles and Joe are probably going to expect that I'm going to say that I'm nerding out about Balatro, a game on.
Oh,
on
only
PC.
like 10 weeks in a row? Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah. And while that is true, that is not what I'm nerding out about this week. What I'm nerding out about this week is Suicide Squad Isekai,
Okay.
which just got released on Netflix, I think, or it might be Hulu. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I've been watching it, but it's an anime twist on the DC Suicide Squad storyline, and it's pretty cool. Like it's really surprising because I often when they try to stick an anime twist onto the properties, it isn't always great. But in this case, it's wonderful. So, and the dub is actually worth watching.
Is anybody here in the anime? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What's with the iffy here? You know.
No, I'm with you.
Well, if you like cards and you like roguelike games, check out Voltro.
Oh, you know about that one,
Oh,
Daniel?
I beat that one. That's a good one.
I'm actually loving that I've been into anime this year because I get to recognize a lot more costumes. Like I recognize the Nezuko, I've recognized the Tanjiro. I saw another Nezuko. I saw a Nosuke. I saw another Nezuko.
So you just watched Demon
The
Slayer.
yellow guy. I saw all the yellow
Yellow
guys
guy.
out
One
there.
with the hair.
Yeah, the one with the hair. Yeah, there were a few that I don't know the names, but like My Hero Academia with the Shay. Who's the guy with the sight?
Most of them can see.
Okay, the one that if he looks at you, you don't have powers.
Oh,
Help me out here. Anyway,
Eraserhead.
yeah.
yeah. As I didn't remember her name. I was like, he looked at me, he's like, "Don't look at me. I need to keep my power." So I kept going. So it's actually fun not knowing the names. Like I recognize the body art or whatever that goes to the character. It actually has been really, really cool to understand more of what people are doing with their cosplay.
Not knowing the name is totally on brand for you.
Well, okay, that's
100%.
That's been me with Delicious in Dungeon. They've been so many.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
so
that,
good too.
and again, I can never remember the names either. So, but I
They're
love
on
that show
point.
so
They got
much.
the like
Oh, they're so
they have
good.
the little grill and everything.
Yeah, so good.
Crap, I lost it. Steven.
Yes, I'm Steven Adams. I do a show called Those Were the Days. And Bob totally just stole what I was going to nerd out about, which was Delicious in Dungeon.
It's so good.
It's the wildest show.
It is so
fun.
good.
I don't-
It's Great British Bake Show, the dungeon crawling anime.
Yeah, it's incredible. I just can't stop watching.
Even
Like
if you're
how
not
to
into
cut up
anime,
like
check
a
out this
giant
one.
scorpion. Like what is
Okay.
that?
So I tried to watch the first episode. It really much was Top Chef anime, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I just
Dungeons
so
and
what
Dragons
what
Top
hooks
Chef.
you? What hooks you?
If
into
you
that?
if you've played a lot of D&D and you've done dungeon crawls, it's a good. If you took the cooking element out of it, it would be a pretty decent anime about a dungeon crawl. So that appeals to that nerd side of me. And while I am the world's worst cook that doesn't involve anything with an air fryer, I love watching Great British Bake Show and any sort of competition cooking show like that. And so it's like kind of scratches two different itches in my brain.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
Just don't watch it hungry.
No. Yeah. Or while eating, really. Like you can avoid watching it while you're eating real food. So depending on what they're cooking, it's a good idea. But yeah, it's bonkers. If you haven't watched it, just check it out because I stayed confused the first episode, and yet I hit next.
All right.
And yeah, it's fantastic.
And it's borderline a cozy kind of fantasy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
It's some darkness starts coming up, but it's
Yeah, it's a different viewpoint too. Like most of the time, like My Hero Academia, it's the story about a boy that cries a lot. This is different. They like food. Like,
That took me way too long to get that.
Huh? But yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So, Dana, what is it about the dungeon cooking what is it you loved about it?
Just the other, like it's the different side of the character. He's
Just
in there 'cause he's
happier.
excited to
Yeah.
get food. That's
Have you
his
seen
only-
Solo Leveling? Oh, Solo Leveling is that's a good one. You can get it free on Crunchyroll without a subscription. I have a subscription, but
I
it
do
was free there. It's Solo Leveling hooked me. That one from the get go was like, holy crap, what is this? I just burned through all that. The first anime that I beat Joe to the end. Then he had to go read the manual. Yes, I did. And then you had to get the manual. Now he's like years ahead on the show. It's not cool, man.
Every week. We do this every week.
Charles,
Wait, guy?
Joe, no, you
wait,
didn't.
Kurt.
you did beat me to the end of my second watch through.
No.
Yes.
No, it is canon. Go back and listen to Wise and Nerdy. You'll find out I beat them to the punch, and it's okay. It's okay. You can let me have one, Joe. It's cool.
Whatever you say.
It's cool. What was it? Oh, nerding out.
Yes.
So it can be anime. It can be something you saw at the con. I love the Kratos. I love the Kratos. So we're all a bunch of nerds. We love things. Come on, step up to the mic. What you got?
The Rick and Morty anime.
Anime.
I haven't watched it.
I
Is it
haven't
good?
watched it yet either.
It's
I'm
like
intrigued.
a bad acid trip.
I mean,
Wait, hold on. Wait,
If I
wait.
imagine
He
an
said
acid trip, that's
acid.
what it'd be.
I know what he said. I know what he said. That's not the point. How old are you, kid?
He's 12.
No, I'm 15. But if I
Are
imagine,
you from Lower Alabama? 'Cause that's how do you understand what an acid trip is? That's all I'm saying.
no judgment.
No, if I imagined acid, it'd be Rick and Morty anime.
Okay.
Oh no, that's
Intro.
fair. That's 100%.
It's a 3-minute long intro.
That's a long.
It's
That's a
terrible.
long intro.
It's crazy.
It felt like that time my dad let me fill the gas can and I just breathed too much. I got you.
Rick and Morty is
I'm
definitely
making fun of you.
one of those shows that snuck up on me. Like you start, it's all slapstick, and then like the longer you watch it, the more you're like, wow, this is really
There's
heavy.
actually a
And there's some
story there.
really
Yeah.
good jokes in it. I started watching the very first episode when my oldest was 13 or 14. And I mean, 5 minutes in, it's like embarrassing 13-year-old jokes. I was like, nope, we're turning that off because he didn't even know where to go. Well, who else? You gotta be nerding about something. You gotta be enjoying something, right? What do you like? What's set you off this week about? You guys, I see it on here. You guys, so what are you nerding out about right now?
It's so basic with Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
What's
Baldur's
wrong with
Gate?
that's
Okay.
great?
What's wrong with that?
That's great.
Hey, we don't judge here. You can nerd out about anything, and trust me, I guarantee that there are plenty of people here that love Baldur's Gate.
Yes.
What were we talking about? Baldur's Gate, like the new one? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I hyper fixated hard on that one. That was one you couldn't stop till you beat it. Did you go murder hobo? That's what I did. Everybody was dead.
No, I downloaded mods. I'm romancing everyone.
Okay.
Nice,
Do you,
nice.
do you have a
That-
favorite?
that's a different kind of murder.
And
That's-
do you have a favorite, and
Killing
why
hearts.
is it Asteria?
Gale, I like Doris.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
so Gale.
Intriguing choice. Intriguing choice. So
No, but it's like Will and Astarion are both kind of like very close second place.
Yeah.
But Gale's such a dork.
I definitely
It's
haven't
so
thought
great.
at length about this.
I had a lady come up to the booth last night, and she was dressed as the druid, starts with the J.
Jahira.
Jahira. She looked awesome. I couldn't place it, and she said it was Baldur's Gate. And I said, "Well, I played it. Who was it?" She said, "Well, did you kill the druids?" I said, "Oh, I killed everybody." She said, "Oh, you didn't know the character then."
It's because it's like to hurt any of the druids.
I wanted everybody's loot. I got it all.
You know,
But the tea, I can't hurt the tieflings. They're all too precious.
And they were gone.
it sounds like you can make good drinks out of them, though. No, is that not? I don't play the game. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure. Just
Oh,
I the only time I ever went full murder hobo was Fallout, the first one, because it was a tough game. And I got to the end where you had to hack a computer, but I never invested in my science that much. So I hacked it, couldn't hack the computer. You had to hack to finish the game. And I didn't learn about multiple saves and making sure you can go back. And I went through, murdered everybody in the world, and then quit the game. So that was
To this day, I have no idea how I got that game past my parents, because the back of the box
the original Fallout. Yeah.
literally said, "Get married and prostitute her out."
Really?
And my parents were like, "No, cool, go ahead, go for it."
It was the 90s. I don't know what to tell you. Anybody else want to throw before we roll the dice again? Anybody else want to nerding out? You're loving stuff. Okay, what you got? We got two. What you got?
Go over here. I'm gonna change it up. A little
Okay, what you got?
okay, all right.
So I'm not like I like to just wake up and go for DragonCon. So instead of like dressing up, I just did things that are permanent. So my nails is all narcissistic, but my nails and then my hair has the hidden loophole.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, okay. All right. So
Oh.
for the stream, because she likes to get up and go for Dragon Con, did nails that were Naruto's eyes in different stages, right?
It's Kurama's eyes.
Correct.
Okay.
Karama's eyes.
And then the gold is not.
And the gold is Naruto. Okay. And then you shaved the pattern inside of your head. Yeah. That's cool.
awesome.
That's super awesome.
All right. Back here.
So yes, if I could change up the question a little bit.
No.
have
Moving on.
a-
No, sorry. Yeah.
Just turned 7.
Okay.
What should I be introducing
Ooh.
into Nerdama?
All right. So for the question is, kid just turned 7. What should dad be doing to nerd him up?
All right, so my hero is about a boy that cries a lot, but it's a safe one for younger kids. It's a good introduction. He just cries a lot. It's so sad.
It's that tone of voice. Don't get that kid on the machine one day. So, yeah.
A few episodes of My Hero, so I
Do-
appreciate it.
Do you like horror?
Actually, he's kind of a budding horror fan. He's very, very light horror.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Yeah.
I actually can't, where can I find that? Because I have thought of
They-
that.
they-
That's
they-
like
they-
Amazon. You can get a box set on that.
Yeah.
Well, but and I know they've remade, like there's the original, but they've done like 2 different, like more
Yeah.
modern seasons of it and stuff like that. So
Is that the R.L. Stein one?
no, it was Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah,
What's the original?
Nickelodeon, but like, way
R.L.
Way
Stein
back.
was Goosebumps.
Yeah, because they did a movie with Jack Black. And, yeah.
Yeah.
Because of that and the popularity it got, they've started redoing those as a mini series.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You
So
can actually get Are You Afraid of the Dark?
yeah, they're like there are You Afraid of the Dark stuff that has come out in the past year or 2 or 3. So
That would definitely do
Yeah.
it.
Now, I tell you, this is. I don't know what you do to entertain kids in the car now. We had DVD players when I was raising my kids when they were little, and I made discs of like Animaniacs and different things that I just wanted them to experience. And someone in the back seat, just pop it in. They can't reach the machine. And then as a parent, you draw your line. So like I started my kids on zombie stuff real early with games and whatnot because they were getting scared of things. And I think my daughter Crosby was probably 6, and she didn't want to watch me play House of the Dead on Switch. And I forced her to. I said, "You've got to at least shoot 2 zombies in the head, and then you can quit." And when she shot the second one, it's like it was empowering. It's like,
Then she was like,
oh,
"Lord."
and I'm not afraid anymore. And then she beat me in that game, and I banned her for life. But it depends on your what you want your kid to experience and what you think they can handle. I watch probably things I shouldn't watch my kids just to geek them up a little bit.
I watched Claymore.
Yeah, and if you don't want that, you can go Plants versus Zombies.
I forgot you were here. Kurt. There you are. I turned him around. I turned him around so I could see everybody. I keep forgetting he sees. Plants vs. Zombies. That's a good one. Kurt, you've got 2 little grandkids now. What's something you're planning on doing to get them into the fandoms that you're into?
Basically, just start gaming with them as early as possible. Like,
What-
and I mean everything from Candyland and then working stuff up. Once they understand concepts, start introducing them to new games that are just a little tougher, a little bit, but don't always let them win.
Oh no, you got to put them in their place.
Never
I
let them
mine
win.
They will beat me.
Make
They
it
one.
fair.
have to be
you got to start dominating early.
Yeah,
well, and they have to be good winners and good losers.
Yeah.
they lose often enough. They're gonna get good at it.
All right, let's roll
Let's say
the dice.
gracious.
Right, we'll throw it. You ready? Don't hit him. Don't hit him. We'll have to throw you out of the room. Right?
Catch it stealing,
Can you
Charles.
catch? Look, that was 4 years ago, and that kid's face healed fine. Okay, here we go.
Oh.
All right, and 3.
All right, it's how do I? And you wanted to pull an audible on this one, so I'm going to let you take it away.
Did you not for me? What?
What did you put the bubble to? So the audible
Oh,
that
is
we're
this,
going to
is this the runner's block thing?
But
Yeah,
what
okay.
we're going to go with, especially because we have 2 authors here, is we want a how do I a glimpse into your creative processes.
So set up a little.
Ours are different.
So set up a little bit better.
But remember, it's also before 10 p.m. at Dragon
PG
Con.
words. Go ahead.
But also part of it for the audience too. Part of this setup is we call it where Fatherhood meets fandom because we're all fans of things, and Joe and I are very much into our kids and sharing advice, and like you're asking here, but it really is about your life. Everything is everything, inclusive. So both of you have families. You've had lives. You had, because you're authors now. You got to work now. But how did you go from? Yeah, how'd you go from doing your life to creating and making your monetary income with what you created?
So I kind of came. So I'm actually a stepfather, and I came into my kiddo's life
It's
with
called a bonus dad.
right.
Bonus.
She just calls me dad. It's great. But I came into her life when she was
dad.
9, and so I've been her bonus dad for about going on 6 years now, and I was already actively trying to poorly earn a living doing this at that point. And I was fortunate to have a night shift job where they didn't care what I did as long as the work was done. So I wrote.
I call it a placeholder job.
Yeah, I wrote about
Yeah.
1 million words over a few years working this night shift job, kind of honing my craft. And then I got COVID hit, and I was just had to sit at home when I wasn't sitting in a warehouse. And it's when I really started putting out books and kind of taking this seriously, which was a good time since I couldn't actually go sell books.
Right.
Brilliant timing. But so that was kind of. My wife has been very supportive, and my kiddo absolutely wants to be creative of some type. So they're great. They don't, it's one of those deals. I tend to write. If I write at home, it tends to be after the kiddo's gone to bed. But my wife has never been one to be like, "Hey, stop, come to bed," unless she says stop.
It's all about the tone.
Yeah, it's all about the tone, and I listen. So I've been fortunate there. So I was able to kind of transition, and now I have a state job, a grown person job, and so I was able to kind of make that transition pretty cleanly without too much disruption.
I hear you got laid off. That's what I'm hearing in that story.
No, my doctor literally told me that working night shift was killing me.
Oh,
Okay.
And she said if I kept doing it, I would die. And so I was like,
Everybody dies.
I mean, she's a doctor. What does she know?
Very supportive,
wrong
Daniel.
all the
Very
time.
supportive.
I'm saying it's gonna happen.
Yeah, no.
Sometime.
We're going back to the initial question of dadisms. Yeah, everybody dies, kid. Don't worry about it.
No, and so,
Happens to the best of us.
but my wife is a nurse practitioner, and so I mean, what does a doctor know? But she's an NP, so she knows her stuff, and so she was like, "Oh, they said this. Okay, well maybe we should get you off night shift." And so now I'm state government, baby.
We've got there you go for the charity. All right. Oh, okay. He's paying the money. You know what? No, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
You want to lead the panel? You put money
There
in
you
for
go.
the charity. That's how we do it. Good kid.
Can't be broke.
Being a dad is definitely a grown person job.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
It'll grow you up quick. I had my first kid at 17.
Well, the
and-
jokes too.
oh,
Bro.
Yeah.
oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's
so we're different kinds of writers. You write a lot of words, and I'm sure they're eloquent and have a great story. Don't sell yourself short.
Meth wizard.
Yes.
How eloquent can it be?
Well,
Hey,
does he cook
you
meth in
have
the air
possums
fryer?
on your shirt. It's
He's not
eloquent.
industrious enough to actually.
you
cook
do have
that.
pockets on your shirt. That's wonderful. So I've got a lot of the ADHDs, and so it comes out sometimes in the videos. Word vomit just happens.
Yeah, no, same. Heavily medicated.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of creators have ADHD. It's my theory, and it's probably true because it gives you all the ideas, and you have a million of them. You just gotta pick out the best ones. And so when that doesn't work, I also I like herbs and stuff, and so I do that, and that kind of helps pick out the ideas. And now we have a cookbook that teaches you how to use said herbs.
Nice.
And you do a lot of pre-planning of your TikToks.
Yeah.
And do you ever get blocked on that?
So that is my anti-block is the herb because I do get blocked a lot. Like I said, can't do it, and so that's when you got to step back. You got to inhale excellence, exhale negativity.
Good
And,
mantra. Good mantra.
And then it works out.
Yeah, talk about writer's block. I do a lot of mentoring. I teach a lot of workshops and stuff like that. I will say a hack that worked for me early on. I mean, we're not that removed from a dog, really. And if you can train a dog, you can train a human. And so, what I would do is if you ever get struggled with writer's block, just start a habit of write in the same place, light a candle of the same scent, and play the same music every time. And you'll sit down and maybe the words don't come. But if you do that enough times, your brain will shift into creative mode the moment I hear this, smell this in this place.
So was I had noticed.
Flip into creative mode.
Okay.
So what music are you listening to?
Ooh, okay. I love talking about this. I have two. All right. So for my Redneck Wizard stuff, I have a playlist of basically like folk, dark Americana about meth. But so many good songs. You'd be surprised. Yeah. Well, to be fair, they're not all about meth, but they are mostly about the darker side of rural life. But I will say my two go-tos before I started that series, there's a German funeral doom jazz band called Bohren and their Club of Gore. And they have an album called Sunset Mission. There are no words. It's just doom jazz. And I hear that doom jazz. I listen to that. There are no words to distract me. It's just atmospheric, kind of dark stuff. And I have trained my brain, hear that, right words.
All right.
Now,
Now,
Okay, I'm going to ask because everybody else is wondering what the hell is doom jazz?
Yeah. It's doom with a saxophone.
Like the game?
No,
Like the game Doom.
Yeah.
First person
No.
jazz.
Yeah.
It's what acid sounds like.
It's basically someone listened to Sweet Leaf by Black Sabbath a lot and then thought, man, what if we slowed this down to a crawl and made that entire music genre? And that's basically
Wow.
doom.
I kind of no, you're good. We use y'all as an example. You want to lead, you put money in. Y'all set the great example.
Yeah.
See, these are the kind of dads we need. Leading reference. When I hear the word doom jazz, I think of that Sasquatch playing the saxophone, but the dungeon from Mario 1. Just on a slow saxophone. Is that yeah?
You can the whole album. You can listen to it on YouTube or any streaming service. Like it's Sunset Mission is my go-to recommendation. You will either be like, "This is okay," or you'll hate it.
Kurt, you do a lot of videos. You do daily videos. What do you do to get past the "what am I going to do today" moment?
I literally just start talking. The best way to get past the block for me is just to start babbling my fool head off, and something will come out.
Okay.
I've heard. Again, I'm not a writer by any stretch, but I can write my name. That's kind of it. But
that's good.
Well, it comes in handy sometimes. So what I've heard though is even with writer's block, just start writing, which is great. Except I'd be going the and
Wheels
nothing.
on the bus.
But I can talk, and so when I get on my videos and I just start going, well, I got nothing to talk about today. Oh, but you know what happened, and just it flows from there. I don't know why, but it just happens to work. They're not all gold by any stretch, but it works for me.
I've been trying to build a career in digital media for 20 years now, and I have found, for me, it's not a block, it's a plateau. Like I feel like in one project, it's gotten to a point where it's just not moving forward. My superpower is the ADHD. It's like, okay, I'm going to do 5 things at once. So when one plateaus, I can go here and start building this up. And then I found I've built these foundations that build up, because for me, it's just changing the game. Just doing something 100% different helps me move forward and do those kind of things. Do you have anything, Joe? Because I know like you've worked on different maps, you've worked on different graphics and stuff. What do you do?
I find, at least for me, the thing that helps me the most is being able to see progress. And a lot of times that involves setting goals along the way of, Okay, like for instance, you mentioned maps. I did a map for my current D&D campaign with my siblings, and I set a goal. Okay, I want to get this section of the map done today, or this section of the map done today. And oftentimes I ended up doing more than what my goal was because I really got into it. But having that goal, having a mindset of where I want to go, helps me start off. And just like Kurt was saying, once you get the ball rolling, it's very easy to keep it going.
All right. Who wants to roll some dice? You give us a really great roll that dice.
Roll that dice.
That's my favorite. I love it.
Shut up, Mike.
Who wants to roll? Whew. We just had some 3D effects for the stream.
Oh, number 6. It's your favorite bad dad joke.
I thought you liked me, Stephen.
All right, who's got the best bad dad joke? Come up to the microphone. Oh,
Good. We don't have to do the segment today.
No.
Oh, there we go.
I thought we were going to have a really great con this year.
Not this time. So, why were there no vacuum cleaners on Battlestar Galactica?
Ooh, why?
They were all Cylonic action.
Yes.
That just smelled like burnt toast and a joke. Joe, what do you got?
Hey, Charles, do you know what the difference between a slug and
Why
a
are you going
gamer
to
is?
address me? I don't want the joke.
Because I love your groans. But do you know what the difference is between a slug and a gamer? Do you?
That sounds dangerous. No.
A gamer gets salty when they die,
Oh, come on.
and a slug dies
Oh.
when it gets salty.
No, I get. Yeah, okay. See, most of the crowd's with me. Nobody's laughing at these, right? These are the worst. I don't understand why people like them. Oh no, Bob, don't be leaning forward.
Why do you? What do you get when you cross an alligator and train tracks? 3 pieces of alligator.
All right, that was fun. That's fun. I like the dark one.
What's toilet paper and the Starship Enterprise have in common? They both circle Uranus searching for
Oh,
Klingons.
all right. So that opens up the door. We'll do this one real quick. What?
Wait. Oh, wait. Charles, yours are never good, for one thing. And two, like, we're kind of missing the theme here. For example, what does a dragon call a bus full of people?
Lunchables?
Dinner?
Meals on wheels.
I was going to open the door to what's the dad joke you told your kid that your significant other wished you'd never told them. My daughter told me
It
one.
happens in your family.
Yeah, in my so my daughter came up to me when she was 8 and she said, "Dad, I want to tell you a joke." I said, "Okay." She goes, "What's yellow and can't swim?" I said, "I don't know." She has a bus full of kids that ran off into the river. It's like, oh, right. Like, you're 8. I'm proud of you. She's like, wait. What's yellow and can't swim but nobody cares?
No.
Well, it can't be a bus full of kids. She goes, it's a bus full of orphans that ran off into the river. I'm like, I'm raising you right. She can't go to her grandparents' house for a while, but I'm raising you right.
That's a hot take.
And that's how we break up these dad jokes.
The one my
Oh,
wife,
no.
the one my wife was a little salty about that I told my kiddo, what do you call a man with no arms, no legs on your front porch? Matt.
Your wife did not like that one.
No, she thought that was a bridge too far.
All right, we got one from over here.
Why can't you trust a tree?
Why can't we trust a tree?
They're shady.
They're shady. All right, we got another dice somebody can roll. This is good. Oh yeah. I'm just proud of you. Now you're gonna let me down. Okay. What's the difference? Oh, I know this one. What's the difference between an apple and an orphan?
Oh man.
See, no,
Any orphans in the audience today? We're sorry.
we don't care about Phil. Don't know. Phil didn't even watch the show. It's okay. So he's gonna roll some dice. Anybody. Whoa! Just near misses everywhere. 4. Wow. So far, we've actually hit individual numbers.
All right, so this is the Council of Dads.
The Parliament of Papas.
Papas.
Owls are parliaments.
What is something that you learned that changed how you view the world?
Oh, what is something you learned? You can't trust humans. That grew up in the church.
Well, okay. So, for instance, I'll go ahead and start. So, I brought this one to the table.
Please.
When I was a teenager, someone told me that people with higher intellect rarely speak in absolutes, and so that got me thinking of why that is, and it very much changed not only how I speak but how I think about things, because it's very rare that you're gonna need to speak in absolutes, or that's even the truth if you try to speak in absolutes. And so that very much changed my mindset about a lot of things and how I interact with statements that are provided by people.
So would you say you never speak in absolutes?
No, I rarely.
Yeah.
I rarely speak in absolutes.
That's a good example.
Plus, the Sith deal in absolutes, so you know.
Team Rocket. What did you guys learn? Kurt, you've been around since Methuselah. What'd you learn that changed the world?
That changed the world, how I view the world, perhaps.
Sure, we'll go with that too.
What? Well, that's the way the question was worded. So I learned 2 things. 1, never trust Charles.
That's
and 2,
solid advice.
Yep.
Y'all
And 2, that I learned really early on that companies are not people and they don't actually care about you.
Yeah.
Okay, companies are organizations. They are not individuals. The company,
they don't care about you, and that's okay.
Right? They can't. Right? It's a company is there to make a profit. That's what their goal is. The people inside the company can treat you like a human being and should treat you like a human being, because that is how you make more money.
On the inverse of that, when you call customer support, they are not the company.
Yeah.
They are a human.
Be nice to them. Their day already sucks.
Yeah. One of the many terrible jobs I had.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that pretty early on, I got given a piece of advice about being a creative. There's like, if you want, think about what your goal is. If you want to get there, you need to treat it like a part-time job. You need to set hours. You need to you can't say I'm writing a book and write 100 words every 2 or 3 months. You know, if you want to write a book, you need to be writing at least every week, you know, otherwise, are you writing a book? Maybe, but it's consistency and treating it like a part-time job is what's going to get you to your goal. And that goal does not have to be doing this for a living. It can be just finishing the book or finishing the piece of art or the short story or whatever your goal is. Me, I'm pretty realistic about the nature of the publishing industry. It is unlikely that I will be doing this as my sole source of income, primarily due to health insurance reasons, because my family's on my health insurance, until I retire. So for me, success is making enough money that me and my wife can travel anywhere we want to, at least once a year. Anywhere in the world that I make enough that I can pay for us to go anywhere in the world once a year. So that to me is success. So I have to get there though. There's a lot of steps along the way, and I've got to treat it like a job. So that was kind of eye-opening for me. And because I've stuck to that, I'm a lot farther along now, I know, than I would have been otherwise.
That's a great piece of advice. Daniel?
So we're doing euphemisms. Comparison is the thief of happiness. Wanting what you have is better than having what you want.
Wanting what you, yeah, okay, I got you.
So one of my favorite ones from a book series, I think it was Alaron Kong's, is when you're presented with a situation or a scenario and you don't have all the facts or enough to make a decisive decision, go with what you hope to be true instead of what you fear to be true.
Ooh.
Keep yourself moving forward in the right direction instead of doubting it.
The Land.
The Land. Mhm. Was that where that was from? I read a lot of books, but I think that's where it's from.
That's his. That's his
I
big
don't
series.
read
so,
any books. I listen to a lot of books.
Way to come on our show and make us feel left out. We love you. Thank you.
Alron Khan used to come to Dragon Con all the time. He was. I saw him on a bunch of panels back before COVID, but I haven't seen him since. So he's still around. But.
You know, bouncing off what you said about treating things as a job, I definitely learned. Don't take other people's vision of what makes you successful or happy as your own. There can be inspirations. I look at what different people do. I look at what this table does. And like, I've learned how to interpret. Oh, I have similar goals. I want to be able to pay for my family to go do whatever they want at least once a year. My idea of freedom is financial freedom. I want to make enough money to not have to think about making money, so I can go and affect the world in the way I want to affect it. Daniel, you've got the channel where you have fans come out and they want to see you, and those are also goals of mine, but I have to do it my own way. I can't just start saying, well, if you're not liking me on my channel, you ought to be, because that would be, yeah. We got some gunflings in here. They know what that spoof was. Cool. But that is it. Was looking internally to figure out what made me happy, because there were so many times I'm like, well, I'm a musician, but was I writing music? Was I practicing? Was I refining my craft? No. But once I said, oh, I'm a digital media creator, every job I went into to do an interview, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was like, not here. 20 years later, I'm still saying not here, because I'm on the internet. But it was very much of defining myself internally as this is where I'm going. And nobody knew what that was back in the early 2000s when it was coming up. And I was like, that's where I'm going. And along the way, I've lost my way a few times, trying to take other people's view of what success is. I came to Dragon Con thinking that you get a panel, you've made it. Because that's what somebody told me. It's like, oh man, you get on a panel at Dragon Con, you made it. I'm not the director of the digital media track at Dragon Con. It's fun. But it's not there's no such thing as you made it, right? That's a fallacy, and that's one of the bigger ones I've learned. I'm gonna throw it back to you guys. What's the way you keep your mind away from that fallacy of, if you do X, Y, Z, you made it? And to me, make it means you just stop doing what you do.
I just crippled myself with imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah.
And so
So you've never made it.
Yeah, I've never made it. No, I really, and this is something that when I mentor people, I advocate it to the nth degree. You have to define success for yourself. It's not going to be the same. For what I view as success, it's not going to be what you view as success. And to me, the key about that is not just saying, I want to be a full-time writer. Okay, that's the big goal. But you need to define successes along the way. For me, and I make lists. I have like a list of short-term goals. And when I hit all those, I shift my long-term goal list is now my short-term goal list. And talking about Dragon Con, I set a goal. It's like, I want to do one panel at Dragon Con, because similar mindset. I'll have made it then.
Now, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a great thing.
Yeah, no. There are a few things in life I love more than paneling. And so I did one panel at Dragon Con, but then the next step on that was like, well, I want to do 6 panels at Dragon Con. And last year I did 6 panels at Dragon Con. Then the next goal was, I want to be an attending pro. This year I'm an attending pro. So it's setting small goals along the way that build towards your eventual success. And then you have to celebrate those. No one else is going to celebrate them. You have to celebrate them. You have to let people know, I did a thing that I am proud of.
And it's okay to be proud of those things.
It is okay to be proud of these things.
And one thing I just want to comment on when it comes to goals, make sure that you allot yourself a measure of grace if you set a goal where its success is out of your control. For instance, you set a goal to be an attending pro. You can apply and do everything that you want. That doesn't mean they'll accept you.
Oh, as I know many times from personal experience.
And so just make sure that, I guess it goes down to the absolutes again. Don't set absolute goals. Leave yourself some leeway, but keep striving towards that. And don't, especially with something out of your control, you don't want to put that on a timetable necessarily either, especially if you want to keep going. You can fail as much as you want as long as you get up and keep going, you haven't really failed.
And what I will do with that, if there are things that are goals of mine that are outside of my control, they're on a separate list. So, for example, I have someone cosplay as my main character. I can't,
That'd be cool.
I cannot make y'all cosplay him, but I showed up to Alabama Comic Con. Yes, we do have conventions.
Everybody's family.
They're
I took off family reunion.
the family reunion with slightly odder attire, but not much. But someone just walked up to me carrying a possum in a mullet wig and a cut off Hawaiian shirt. I was like, oh my God, it's Howard Marsh.
Proud of that.
Yeah. And that was not something I could control, but that happened, and that guy better be okay with his picture being used all the time in my advertisements, because it does. But like, I see all these authors like, oh, someone got a tattoo of my, well, that's on my to-do list. I want someone to get a tattoo of my works, but I can't make that happen. So it's something.
I mean, you can get a tattoo of your works.
Oh, well. me.
Here's my face. Here's also my face.
Yeah, meet me in a dark closet later and we'll talk. But no, it's that's something outside of my control, but something I would like to see happen, and I will celebrate it when it does.
Now we've just got to volunteer Kurt to get a full back piece of the possum with your beard. Yeah. You down, Kurt?
So I want to talk about the goals end of things a little bit, because we talk about goals in this weight loss community that I'm in. And one of the biggest issues is we often make our goals based on the outcome we want, not on the work that we do to get there. And so if we make our goals based on, I'm going to, in the case of writing, let's say, I'm going to write 6 out of the 7 days this week, not saying I'm going to finish my book this week. I'm not going to finish my book in 2 days or 2 weeks rather. But just, I'm going to do the work consistently. We can still measure goals like, oh, I did that. I accomplished that this week. And still feel that sense of success. And then the outcome that we want, generally speaking, will happen. But we don't always have control over when that outcome happens. And so often when we set our goals and define our successes by that outcome, we're often disappointed when it doesn't meet it exactly. But if we're doing the work and we're basing our successes on the work, we have way more control over that.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then we can celebrate a lot more, frankly.
We could keep going. We've got a few more segments to hit. So who wants to roll the dice? We're way in the back.
All the way back. You can do this. I believe in you.
You can do it. All right.
For this to be a nerd convention, this has gone surprisingly well.
And one thing that has changed my perspective.
Sure.
Yeah, I got powers.
You got the dice.
So my family used to play a game. We're driving home. Dad, how much longer is it going to take to get home? We'd all give guesses. My dad would give a guess. And then one day I noticed when he guessed something that was a little higher than I thought, it started driving below.
I was in my 30s before I realized that was what my dad was doing.
Rig the game.
The world was never the same.
No, God.
All right, we're looking for a 5 or a 2. 2. A 2. So that's Daddy telling me a story.
Tell me a story. All right, I will tell you a little story of, we're talking about building, we're talking about setting goals, we're talking about get where you want to go. I never set my sights on Dragon Con until that one gentleman told me, you get a panel Dragon Con, you do it. So I was like, cool, it's going to go on my list of things to accomplish. I accomplished it, was on one panel one year, then like you spread it out. Just kept volunteering where I wanted to plug in. And did become the director of the digital media track, but kept plugging. And this year, it's taken years for the world to catch up to me, but I keep pitching ideas, keep pushing things. But this year, when the ideas took off, and Anson Mount does a show called The Well, right? That's his podcast. That is his passion. He loves it. And last year, when the strike happened and nobody could talk about their properties, I started researching what celebrities did podcasts, found his, we pitched it to him. Weren't able to work it out in time then. But then this year he brought it back to the table, and I did get to sit on the stage with Anson Mount and Danny Trejo, and then Anson Mount and Todd Stashwick. Thank you, Todd Stashwick. And I'm not a part of the show, but I was there as an instrumental part, recording their podcast for them, mastering it live, which is one of my specialties. I spent 10, 15 years in the live media world, setting up concerts, working in hotels like this, doing shows like this from that table over there kind of deal. And all of that led me to a point where I got to help out somebody do something awesome. Right. And that's been my adoption of if I had a motto for my life, it's help others be awesome. And sometimes you don't always get to be in the limelight talking about that. But when you do, I love that part. But just to sit up there, best seat in the house. Like I'm behind Anson Mounts here. Danny Trejo's there. And he's telling me the stories as much as he's telling Anson. I'm like, I'm such a little kid. You're looking me in the eye. You're telling me the story. And we're just going to keep going. It's just going to keep getting bigger, better, more. And that's really a story of chasing your dreams. Once you realize, Joe, to your point earlier about goals and setting them and not being hard on it. Once I said, okay, my general goal is this vision, and how I get there is just keep following that vision, that light. It's taking me down paths where I had to learn Excel spreadsheets. I'm like, how's that work for creativity? Well, now it keeps this track running along with Kaz over here. Kaz is amazing. Give it up for Kaz. There you go. She keeps us very organized, but you learn things along the way you don't realize. So if you don't fight the process, you embrace the process, it gets you doing really cool things. And that might not be for you. You might not want to be on stage in front of a bunch of people with celebrities. It's just my thing. But wherever you want to be, you can be. And you just keep taking those steps. And sometimes it's the reverse. Like if I hadn't put DragonCon on my list because this guy said that was a cool thing to do, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things I do today. And that's the story. So we're about 5 minutes out. So the last segment is a commercial break. And we usually play some music. We talk about going to patreon.com/wise_n_nerdy. We're not going to tell you about that today. So don't worry about patreon.com/wise_n_nerdy and become part of our fandom. It's here on the sticker. See, we got this. But we've got some gentlemen who have some awesome books to sell. So that's going to be a commercial. We got 5 minutes. So talk about where you have to find your books, how people can to follow you on the internet. You've got a minute. No.
Okay. No.
Do your thing.
Yeah. No. Here, I'm in the vendor hall, 3rd floor, Side Street Books. I'm selling books. Honestly, you need to. I brought double the books that I sold last year, and I'm probably going to sell out tomorrow morning if things go on pace. So if you want one of my books here that's signed, you can go get them in the vendor hall. I've pre-signed them. If I'm there doing a signing, I'll be in there like 4 hours tomorrow, I think. I'll personalize it to you, or you can find me on a panel. I'll happily personalize it to you. Outside of that, and I'm doing some more panels. I'm actually doing a panel with that lovely gentleman there next. And then I am Tales by Bob pretty much anywhere. Website, Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. You can buy my books off Amazon. If you want them signed, just message me. We'll figure it out. So, yeah.
Most authors are more than happy you ship them your book. They'll sign it and send it back. We're happy about that.
Yeah.
So I'm Stoner Gump, most everywhere, Daniel Gossard on Facebook. So as far as where I'm at here, what you're going to want to do is there's an escalator. I'm right by it. It's right there. And then 10 o'clock tonight, I'll be over at the Cortland. We're going to have some fun over there, I think.
Yeah, we're doing a Q&A on all the things that go into broccoli and how you handle that.
So if you guys like to be healthy, we're going to talk about broccoli.
Now, rumor has it you've been known to accept alternate payments for your book.
So there is, okay, you simmer down, whoever.
This is not a spicy comment.
No.
But also he likes money. So.
Yeah, you got some cool stuff. See, unlike this gentleman, I'm by the escalator, so I brought a lot of books, and nobody knows where I'm at. And so I have a lot of books that I don't want to drive home. So yeah, you got something cool. Come talk to me.
So, and what
did someone give you though?
So I got
someone traded you something for your book, right?
This awesome gentleman brought me up. It's a signed Christopher Reeves photo from when Christopher Reeves was here like 14 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he asked, "Hey, would you trade this for your book?" I'm like, yeah, well.
I had a woman. I met her at Conjuration, I think.
Conjuration.
She followed me to Multiverse, and she's just become a fan of me and been mixing some of the other authors. And she came yesterday and brought me. She had crocheted a possum that if you open its mouth, it'll open its little
mouth, and it has a tongue. And she's like, I'm just not very happy with it. It's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
This thing is amazing. It was the coolest thing I think I've ever been given. And so she's not very happy with it, but I am. So
Yeah.
I had a lady send a crochet doll of me. She crocheted my tattoos into it, my necklace, and everything.
Wow.
My kids think it's creepy as hell, but I think it's just awesome.
Yeah. Now, with the Christopher Reeves, you didn't think it was odd that he signed it with a K? Christopher, it's a fake.
Yeah.
Cool. No, seriously, go visit. It's the salons. You got Grand Salon. You got the West upstairs here in the Hilton. It's a very air conditioned area. Go see Stoner Gump. He's got
And
lots of
NASA's
great
right
things.
next to me, so you can talk to NASA too. So-
I mean, space
Different
cadets
ways-
can combine.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Theirs is a lot farther. out, but I'm trying to get there.
Joe, where can they find you, sir?
Every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we stream Wise and Nerdy on YouTube. So that's where you can find me.
And Kurt.
You can find me
Wake up,
everywhere at VO. You can find me everywhere at
Come
VO
on,
by
Kurt.
and also Thursdays with Joe and Charles.
Sounds so excited about that.
Dum.
So, Wise and Nerdy is a podcast. You can find it everywhere you want to be. Unlike MX, or people don't take that anymore. You can still find Wise and Nerdy out there. So it's Wise_N_Nerdy. And like they said, we do it on YouTube every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. But then it drops into your podcatcher of choice. And we love to build a community. We are looking for people who just like talking about what they love. You love what you love. You come to Dragon Con, right? And then you go home and you get that post-Dragon Con depression of, man, my normal life doesn't get me. We get you. Come out and be a part of our community every week. We'd love to have you share your stories, be a part of what we do. I'm Charles McFall. I got a podcasting. You can find all my stuff on Linktree/RGOP42. Thank you all for coming out and being a part of our show. Please give it up for our wonderful guests, Bob Magoo and Daniel Gossard. No, come on. You guys can- All right. And go find these gentlemen and buy their books. It's awesome.
I have some free stickers up here that say "Read Redneck Meth Wizard books." Come grab some.
And we got Wines and Nerds. Hey, Kurt, that worked out. You look so.
Obviously, the lag was a little weird.